So guys, Nigerian Army has justified the actions taken against Justice Crack, saying that he is a security imperative. And yes, he was arraigned yesterday, and we noticed that the DSS were the ones that brought him to court. Does that mean that the Nigerian Army handed him over to the DSS? If truly he was handed over to the DSS, and this case is not, has no business with the DSS. This is not a big case, that the DSS should handle. Cases handled by the DSS are big cases that affect the nation's security. I see no reason of actually handing him over to the DSS. Like I said, Justice Crack was arraigned and he was charged, guys. 3-count charges. Now, if you take your time and read the whole charges leveled against Justice Crack, you will notice that Justice Crack has done nothing. They are just trying to paint the whole picture to look like Justice Crack has committed one big crime, guys. Now, this is what Nigerian Army posted. They said, social media is not a battlefield command. Why the Nigerian Army's actions against Justice Crack is a national security imperative. Yes, like I said, Nigerian Army has justified the actions taken against Justice Crack, and then they said he's a security imperative. Now, let's go over to the charges leveled against Justice Crack. Now, they said that, according to the charges leveled against him, they said that on a particular day that he made a video and he posted it on social media, and that particular video has spread hatred and fear. Now, I keep on asking myself, which particular video? Which video? Is it the same video that, Justice Crack said, feed our soldiers well? Is it the same video that has spread hatred and fear? So, like I said, if you look at all these charges, this is one of the charges leveled against Justice Crack. And if you look at all these charges, you will clearly see that Justice Crack has done nothing, because that video did not spread any hatred. Like, which persons do you want to bring? Who do you want to bring to court to actually, agree to this? And if you look at the video that Justice Crack made, if you really watch that video, you will see that there was no any form of insult. Justice Crack saw a loophole. Yes, soldiers are human beings and they deserve better lives. I mean, they faced bandits in Sambisa Forest and in different places. They deserve better life. So he saw a loophole, and then he called it out. He talked about it, begging the superiors, calling on the superiors in the Nigerian Army to do better, to increase the welfare of these soldiers. Guys, this is not the first time we are, hearing that the welfare of soldiers in Nigeria are very poor. In fact, Shure was protesting about it. Some soldiers has also come out to say that the money they give them is small, and where they sleep is poor. Guys, this is not the first time we are seeing this. It's not a new thing, and Justice Crack made a video concerning it, begging, calling out. He did not just say the problem. He actually called on the superiors to solve this problem. And if you watch, my own is that there was no any form of insult. He was plain, and then the Nigerian Army, now they are trying to make it look like Justice Crack has done one big crime. Now let's move over to the reactions coming from Nigerians. A lot of Nigerians has reacted on this. Now, this person said Nigerian Army belongs to the northern part of Nigeria. They are not for Nigerians. They are working for terrorists. Wow. And then the other person said, bandits and terrorists who kidnap people and post videos of their hostage, and those of themselves flaunting the ransom money they collected from their victims, are still roaming free in the bushes. Nobody has tracked them or arrested them, even with a mountain of evidence and clues as to how to capture them. But it's someone who posts a video exposing the rots in the Nigerian Army that they quickly tracked down and arrested. There is something fundamentally wrong with this country. We have seen a lot of videos of these terrorists, flaunting their ransom money, showing videos of people they kidnap, how they torture them, how they beat them, a lot of atrocities they do, they video all these atrocities. Guys, this country is very, very funny. And then this one said, so what are the arraign? So this one said, so what are they arraigning him for? Just because he demanded better feeding for soldiers? Those soldiers will sit down there, they look this rubbish. Not them and they blame. The other person said, it will reach everyone since we don't want to free ourselves from the hand of these demons. The other one said, Nigerian Army showing their power of intimidation on innocent citizens because he said the soldiers are not being paid well. It's a very disgraceful thing to do. why we have Fulani terrorists killing our people and soldiers and nothing is being done about it. Guys, let me know what you think about this under the comment section. Now let's look at this clip of Dr. Abati, and Oseni Rufai. Let's look at what they have to say concerning the charges leveled against Justice Crack, and also a man that also came out to talk about so many things concerning Justice Crack arraignments and also the charges leveled against him. Guys, take a look and I'll be right back.
It's a fast-moving story on Justice Crack, and yesterday we had talked about the past, and maybe that's why the military has come out to explain. I have an issue with some of the grounds given for that, almost sidelining or, making a case for who can talk about what affects every single Nigerian. I think that's important to mention. I understand military psychology, but what the Justice Crack was doing was not to embarrass, it would embarrass, it was not to just call out. It was an advocacy move. He was saying something is wrong. It's active citizenship. So it's almost saying that you can actively be a citizen in Nigeria, but your powers of that are limited as long as it doesn't offend certain sensibilities. I get where they talk about military psychology, but to be fair to Justice Crack and the way that they handled this matter, which was the bone of contention yesterday, if you have an issue with somebody, you can go through the legal process, charge him to court, take him to court, and it's not the military's job to do that. It is a civil matter, so it should have been the police that should have handled it. The military held him for 5 days. He had no contact. Nobody knew where he was until his family and friends came out to complain about it. So is this the mode of operation of the military? Is this what Nigerians should expect? We talked about how there was a militarization in many areas, and we're not under a military regime. And so they should not, take this hard stance when it comes to a citizen of Nigeria. That was the main call. So let's not move away from the issue. The court will determine whether or not, Justice Crack is guilty or not based on the charges before him. And let me even look at the charges. And thank you, Shed. I went to look at section. Yes, I went to look at section 59 and 509 of the criminal code, Nigerian Criminal Code. And one of it says publication of false news with intent to cause fear and alarm to the public. That you published the fact that soldiers are suffering, that certain things are happening. Look at the state of our soldiers. How is that going to cause fear and alarm to the public? Because even the military's statement or the civil military agent, the editorial was based on the fact that was based on the psyche of the military men themselves. But this particular law says to the public. How did that cause fear and alarm to the public? The only thing it raised was awareness and a call to responsibility by authorities to do the right thing. And I've said it again and again that a lot of times, and the military is guilty of this, when a negative reportage is put out, the first instinct, knee-jerk reaction is either to deny without even an investigation instituted, or to pick up the person that put out the news. That is not how to build credible institutions. What we are asking for is accountability. What we're asking for is it's actually in favor of the military men. Some of these military men who have suffered on end for so long are the ones that release this information for civilians to help them advocate their case. That was what Justice Crack was doing. I hope the court process, I want to see what the outcome of the court process would be, because having looked at section 59, I cannot see what he did wrong based on that and what the charges are based on. Yeah, the court will decide. So I said that I want to see what the court will say. It's a matter in court, but let's see what we say. But what I just want to say ending is that the military has, or even institutions across Nigeria, must not be intolerant to feedback. And this is the age of social media. You cannot only say that it's traditional media, TV shows and news that must take their stories. This is the age of social media, and you have to recognize it. We're not living in the Stone Ages. But what we're also asking is that let justice be done for Justice Crack. Let them handle him. Did they assault him? Was he tortured? Should they have done that? What did he do to warrant that? That is what the call is for. Let us not distract matters. It is the way and manner in which this case was handled, even if they felt aggrieved.
I know everybody wants to. This is a big story. Should we go to Revite and Dr. Abati? We round up the story.
Only story, like I commented yesterday. This is the only story.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
With due respect, whoever advised the military to do this advised them wrongly. Dr. Abati used to talk about institutional memory. It's obvious the military doesn't have it. You see, these are the things that easily destroy the image of the military, and they have just done it to themselves again. A man released a report. You have sent your people here in defense to come and defend the report.
That's an interview.
The day you came, they brought in pictures of, what's it called? No more malu are food and they say if military people are eating to enjoy themselves.
Remember, he was
he was a retired general. Yeah, he spoke for the military. You've put up a first line of defense. All right, you've had your right of reply. You will have just allowed it ended that. Even if the right of reply, I debunked them because I just asked one question. RCA, is it 3,000 naira or not? The general was struggling that day. Now you all saw it now. It's water free of charge. So after you have done that, you now went to pick up Justice Crack. You just made Justice Crack more popular. You impinge upon his rights. And when people are now talking against the military, you are saying they are talking against them. The military will have just made his own case that they will look into the matter and keep quiet and move on. Yeah. Secondly, you've now bundled him. You've now gone to charge him. Maybe in their statement before, they said he was supporting subversion. Where's the subversion in the charge? We can't live in a country this way. That's why they were seen mutilating another the cable journal. We didn't do anything. That was how we revealed the story of a military officer, a portrait of a major general that went all the way to harass somebody in Abuja. Till today, the military did set up the committee, have not done anything. You see, when we start to talk about the image of the military going decrepit, when I was talking yesterday that we have no country, and people thought I was joking. Let me even extend that conversation, Dr. Abati. Maybe now they can come and carry maybe your child or Dr. Abati's child or family member. God forbid. God forbid, Abi. Dr. Abati, how about the military coming to carry your lovely wife like that?
In the interest of time.
Dr. Abati, or your children.
Dr. Abati,
is this fair?
No, fine.
That's not fair now.
In the interest
so let's all go this way now.
I obtained through Randy Peter copy of the charges brought against Justice Crack. I laughed. In fact, if you are very familiar with many funny charges brought by Nigerian institutions against citizens whenever they do, we call them holding charges because when you read them, you know that they really don't have anything against the persons there. They are just looking for something to, when you read them, for instance, look at this one. They said there are 3 count charges, the same offense. 28 April, he posted this. They will now say it is causing hatred among citizens. First, you can't even establish that. Who are the citizens you will bring in to court to show that it is truly causing hatred among them? And how do you prove that it's hatred among citizens? That's one. Number 2, they will bring back the same offense, 28 April. The first one, they said pursuant to Cybercrime Act. They now went and looked for another criminal code. Different laws, different rules under different edict act and the rest of it. This one they now say under Criminal Code 59. They now say likely to cause to breach public peace. The same offense again, they bring it to number 3. They look for another language. They are just looking for synonyms and different phrases to re-express the same offense, and looking for different edict acts and laws or codes or rules to bring it under. The reason is to magnify the same allegation and make it look copious before the eyes of the court, just so that the court can grant the requested long remand. It simply means that they know that in substantive proceeding itself, the person may not be found guilty by verdict. So all they do is just look for long remand to punish the person by remand. They know they have nothing against you. Congratulations, Justice Crack. I was thinking maybe in the course of holding him for that long, perhaps they found ties between him and terrorists. But immediately Randy Peter sent me those charges. I just laughed. I said, they have nothing against this man. They just want to show him. You know, when they say I will show you, I will do another, you know, they just want to punish him. So it's very clear. I've seen it a lot of times. And so this brings us back to what we have been saying over time. So when we say some things, we know because of the average level of mental state and education, literacy and the rest of it in the country, there are some things you have to re-express many times with many examples before people understand you. You know, I'm sorry to use this, but the example again of VDM, because it is the most, I'm using it because it's the most recent example. Now you see that they will say the same offense. They will say forgery pursuant to section this of Cybercrime Act 20 something. They will now come back and they will re-express the same offense counts or charge count 2. They will now say the same offense. In the first sentence, they will call it maybe identity theft. They will bring the same offense back and call it maybe forgery pursuant to another criminal code, or maybe the same Cybercrime Act as amended in another year. They now come back again, re-express the same offense and call it maybe this time copyright infringement. So when we say this thing, it is to make it look copious. And I'm not saying it to make anybody, but I'm saying is the most recent example that the public or the audience as may be listening now can be familiar with. Go and look at those charges. So those are the things we say. It is one allegation. They re-express it in many ways. Look for different codes, edits, laws, and acts to attach them to and make it look copious, like you have committed 16 counts of different offenses. This is the same allegation, and in fact, by the time they get to the substantive proceeding, they may not even be able to establish it. That's why we say, see, if you truly know you want justice and not punitive measure, or just want to be pernicious, why not just go by the civil means and establish this case properly in court, instead of trying to use the instrumentality of states to achieve punishment of somebody, but just by getting long remand as against the verdict of justice itself. So these are the reasons we say this. Now it is happening in the case of Justice Crack, now perpetrated again by the federal government of Nigeria. Because when I read the charge, it is Federal Republic of Nigeria, who bears that name, versus so you are simply saying all of us versus Justice Crack. And in this case, maybe the Attorney General of the Federation, on our behalf, on our collective behalf, against Justice Crack. But that said, let me use this avenue again to clarify one thing. I understand what the military would have wanted to achieve instead is to sensitize the public that, see, matters between the military, and I'm breaking it down in my own terms now, matters between military and the opponent or the enemies, the public should be circumspect or reserved or careful because of the undermining effect it may have on the psyche, because that is our defense. Justice Crack should not just be punished with all those frivolous charges I've seen. The question we are asking the military, and which we are demanding answer right now, is that thing Justice Crack said true? If it is true, excuse me, who are those responsible for the proper nutrition of our military on the front line that are otherwise withholding what the military should be feeding well on in order to be strong and fit to do the job they signed up for? Because at first it used to be that tools were the things they complained about. The tools they give our military is inferior to those of the opponents they are going to counter. That doesn't make sense. It used to be that. Now it has even degenerated to the level of the food they should eat. No. So I hope that as you are holding Justice Crack for frivolous charges just to secure long remand and punish him, I also hope that these heads are rolling. Disciplinary measures are being taken against those who are in charge of the proper welfare of the soldiers, but are proudly holding it back because they know they have no right to go to the social media. Nigerians, as much as we can catch cruise, as much as we can play, as much as we can be funny, as much as we can act distracted, as much as we can, talk or banter and do all sorts at ourselves, we care. Justice Crack, be strong. You will be out. These are frivolous charges, and I can see already that they have nothing against you. I thought they would even come out and say they were able to establish ties between you and terrorists undermining integrity of the Nigerian defense. But from what I've seen, there's nothing against Justice Crack.
So you can clearly see that Arise TV news presenters are against the actions taken against Justice Crack. Not just them, many Nigerians are against this particular act by the Nigerian Army. So let me take you guys on more reactions. This person said, this is so bad in a country that promised its citizens good governance. Citizens cannot even speak up again. Is this democracy? Nigeria is not practicing democracy this way. The other one said, we Nigerians aren't angry enough, and it hurts me every much that Nigeria is looking like it starts and ends in Lagos and Abuja. Those who can really help to fire up these movements are not in these locations. Then the other person said, the way the satanic soul in the armed forces collaborate against innocent citizens, if they collaborate same way against terrorists, Nigeria would be a safer place today. And then the other person said, una never even say anything. One Nigeria, everybody go feel am now. Then the other one said, how disheartening for Nigerian force to take matters of no concern as serious as if someone commits a capital offense. People who have done the worst, and yes, you guys can't do anything. Shame they catch me as a Nigerian or more. Then the other one said, they are even making him stronger because you can't stop a man God sent to free his people from slavery. More of Justice Crack awaits you, or evil leaders of Nigeria. And then the other person said, until you understand that there is nothing like we are one Nigeria, let everyone go their own separate ways. Nothing like Nigeria. They cook up this to just keep us hostile and continue to milk us. The other one said, person no do anything. You no buy, you no kidnap, you no steal, you no scam. But Nigerian Army and DSS just wake up and carry him lock away, denied his right to freedom of speech and movement. His only offense was that he is agitating for a better life for his country first men. I don't feel sympathy for the Nigerian police and army. They are being used like tools to harm citizens and even themselves. I just believe that once we finally have a good leader, all this nonsense will come to an end. Then the other one said, why the military have taken this position, personnel have been lost on the front line during this sensitive period. The military emphasizes that this is a collective fight. In your current recruitment campaign, some zones refuse to meet quotas. Why not review wages and personal welfare? The other one said, instead of following them and shouting, you people could have easily started a revolution by snatching him from the hands of the officials and giving him a chance to escape by creating a barricade. They know plenty which una now is how many people soldiers go kill. A joke to you? Wow. Then the other one said, shameless country, and they want us to continue with Atiku and Tinubu. Then the other one said, we have all been here before, and we did something that has made us Nigerians in this life. Because tell me why we are going through it like this. Then the other one said, tell us the truth. Let those Nigerian army continue with their ways of life. It's an error for a civilian to be feeling sympathy for them. And then the other person said, as now they follow Justice Crack matter, make una no forget the INEC struggle too, because these useless politicians won't use Justice Crack matter to distract us. Then the other person said, the problem is that the political security tradition, the political security and traditional and even religious instructions in Nigeria have become so compromised that the nation's leaders perceive their existence as detached from a global society, existing instead in a realm of lawlessness. Then the other one said, once this guy is free, he should sue the hell out of them. What kind of demeaning and harsh treatment is this? This is pure wickedness. His crime is nothing, in my own opinion. Terrorists and government officials do worse and nothing is done. Shame on this country, man. Then the other one said, the problem is that Then the other one said, so what are they arraigning him for? Just because he demanded better feeding for soldiers. Those soldiers wey sit down, they look this rubbish, now them I blame sha. Then the other one said, Nigerian Army belongs to the northern part of Nigeria. They are for Nigerians. They are not for Nigerians. They are working for terrorists. Guys, this is the reaction, coming from Nigerians. People are even saying that there's no need of even, trying to sympathize with these soldiers because they are being used, and then some are trying to say that Justice Crack did not do anything. Let me know what you think about this under the comment section. Drop a comment below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like and share this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.